morning. In this video I would like to talk to you about the Xing Shen Zhuang Gong, which represents the first stage or seminary in the path of Nei Qi Gong. Although it is the first stage in our system, it's actually a system that it is used in other schools as the only one that they use. I'm telling you this because this can make you understand the actual importance of this seminary, which has as main goal the possibility of opening up all the meridians and starting to allow the qi circulation in the body. We are not yet talking about cultivating qi in the Dantian. At this stage it doesn't exist, the Dantian, it's just an imaginary concept, but we are preparing the body through a series of exercises to later be ready to do this kind of work. It's a very complex system in the sense that it is composed of 15 exercises plus 2 preparatory ones that are based on the fact of using attention and specific slow movements, so it's suitable pretty much for anybody, to perform certain movements and to unlock the meridians, so all the meridians that we have in our body. We first start doing the alignment, which is a basic free exercise that I give already for free on my website, but it is something actually that it is present in most practices of Nei Qi Gong. First we prepare the body, we align the body to later do the specific practice. And then we do the massage. The massage is a sort of system to wake up the body, especially when we plan to practice in the morning. So let's say we went to sleep and then we will wake up, we want to practice. The first thing is actually using this system of putting some pressure on the meridians of each organ to wake up the body, so to make it work, to make it ready for the practice itself. The practice starts with exercises that go from the top till the bottom. So it's a really complete exercise, and it is defined as the perfect longevity exercise in the Chinese tradition. As I said, many schools of Qigong, they just use this system because it really strengthens your health, gives a sense of dynamism, and all these kind of things. They are stuff that you can really experience after some days of practice. There's no need to practice for that long. At the same time, as I said, the Nei Qi Gong path represents the beginning, because first of all we need actually to become aware of this machine, this body that we carry around, and to prepare to later do practices that they become a bit more demanding, physically demanding. The path is structured in the way that you learn the first practice. For instance, you practice for 3 months and then you are able to access the second one, and so on. So between each practice there is a time of practice required, which is basically meant for the fact that we want to have good result. At the same time we want to move safely into this path of working with Qi. So if you learn the first practice online with me, let's say, then you have to practice 3 months before actually being able to ask to learn the second step. But even if you stop only with the first practice, you already learned an amazing tool of longevity and of health that you can use at any time. And it is really complete, because as I say, the other schools, they just use this system. The path of Nei Qi Gong has a different goal with respect of Qigong, or many Qigong courses. The goal is actually accumulating a big amount of energy in the Dantian, and to later use that energy for our spiritual growth, martial arts, and even healing others by emitting our Qi on people, on the patient, and unlocking the meridians and rebalancing the old system. So the path is structured in a way that you have, I think, Shifu Costantino Valente, who is the founder of this system. I'm an authorized instructor. I work with him as well. We work with English speaker students or Spanish. I think the beauty of this system relies on simplicity and effectiveness. on the fact that it really builds up all the main aspects that are necessary to later approach the superior practices. Why I'm saying this? Because, for instance, the first practice, the one I'm talking about right now, the Xing Shen Zhuang Gong, works on the body. So prepares the body, unlock the body, fix the posture, and we can actually start to feel certain sensation, although we don't call that thing really Qi, because Qi can be quite strong experience on that level. And then you have a second seminary, which is Nei Qi Gong, to start to accumulate yang energy. And then we have practices that help the practitioner to enter into the meditative state, which is something very important. I'll talk on another video about meditation, what it really means meditation, because it doesn't mean to do exercises. It's a state that happens naturally when the being is ready for it. Then we have the fourth practice, which is a Nei Qi, a practice that is done by Shifu Costantino Valente with my presence as translator, which is a technique to recall the spiritual energy on the top of our head. Then we have breathing exercises, and then actually we kick in with the Nei Qi Gong. On the first superior practice, we start to work with the electricity. And as I said in other videos, the practitioner can reach up to 220 volts without having damages, but only benefits. And then we move on, we start to actually balance and move the energy in the body, and then we learn how to emit, and so on. So why I'm saying this? Because actually before heading to the superior practices, we need to prepare the body, the emotions and the mind, and this meditation state that it's quite misunderstood, to handle the work that requires that all these components of our being, they work together for doing a work which is beyond the normal, let's say. The time to get to the superior practices is not that long compared to the fact that some people practice Qigong or other form of Qigong many years, and they just move a little bit outside, but there is nothing happening inside. The basic practices we're talking about, I guess, less than 2 years to do the whole thing, or 1 year and a half. I don't remember actually, but for instance, the first practice is 3 months, and then 3 months for the second one, 3 months for the third one. Nei Qi, I don't remember it right now, but we're really talking about a short, relative short period of time. If there is the right dedication of practicing, let's say on a daily basis, putting aside those 40 minutes, 35 minutes, 50 minutes, what you can for your practice, to actually get to a stage where Qi becomes an experience, becomes, well, even before the superior practices already, there are certain experience of Qis, but not that strong as when we start to work, for instance, with electricity, and when we move to the superior practices in general. But we still work with it even in the basic practices, so we have certain experience in our body which are quite interesting, and even for me even more important than actually meeting Qi is the Nei Qi, the recall of spiritual energy. Really changed my life personally. But I'm saying this because there's no actually real experience of Qi in the world of Qigong. Most people talk about it, most people do this energy thing, but we're talking really about subtle sensations, and most of the time we're talking about systems they don't have a lineage. So there is no lineage, a proven system, effective and practical. And I think that's the great job that Shifu Costantino Valente did, was to take the teachings from his teachers, to put them together, complete, and actually to include his experience in the energy path, to allow people to move gradually. And at the beginning he did probably some attempt to come up with this system, but then now it became a very effective system, and many students can confirm what I'm saying. So the basic practices can all be learned online. I teach 5 of them and some superior ones. Nei Qi is done by Shifu Costantino Valente. We noticed that it's possible to learn online. I've been teaching to people and I'm super happy actually to see the result. And also we provide, apart from a live class, I provide study material, PDF and WhatsApp assistants, in the sense that you become formally my students. This is not some sort of product because it's on the internet and it is advertised. It's just a way to use modern tool to allow me to live in nature, in isolation, to support my Qi practice, to support my life ultimately, because I'm a human being, flesh and blood, so I need to eat and do my stuff, live normally. So you find it there for this reason, because I think it's also great that people from the other side of the planet, without traveling, they can learn a practice, and instead of coming every 3 months and learning, you know, and spending loads of money as well. So there's no need actually for the basic practices to come here. If you want, it's your choice. But for the superior practices, yes. And also the time of practices starts to grow. Like we have stuff of 6 months, 1 year, and so on. So why I'm saying all of this, it's because I would like you at least to find out more about Nei Qi Gong. I can understand that certain things can look a bit unreal when we see Shifu Zhou showing a Qi manifestation in front of 400 people, but that's the way it is. His natural ability of doing it in a in almost any condition. And sometimes I mention the practice with electricity because I think it's something practical. Like you understand that if you connect yourself to electricity to 220 volts by even 200 volts, you really need to handle it in the proper way. And if we do this, it means that it can really work. It's a practical thing. We're not just moving hands in the air or talking about Qi in a very abstract way. And I think this is what is missing right now in the world of Qigong. Very few people actually have an experience of Qi. I consider myself super lucky because I met Shifu Costantino Valente because I became part of this lineage and became part of the school, which is actually an initiation that we do after you complete the basic practices. Between the basic and the superior there is an initiation where you become part of the inner school, let's say. And so this is pretty much it. I mean, the goal of this video was to explain more about the Xing Shen Zhuang Gong, which is this very complex and amazing system that I still practice sometimes, and I still break it down in the sense that if I work on my computer, if I'm driving 3 hours, then I know that I can use certain exercises, only taking one part and practice them and improve certain part of my body. The goal is unlocking the meridians and working with key points in the energy practice. So points that are very important in the practice of Nei Qi Gong. The benefits, you can feel dynamism, energy. When I mean energy, I don't mean strong Qi energy. I mean a sense of energy and also some sensation. And I'm saying this because the basic practices are not actually that basic. When you move down the path or up, depends how you want to see it, and you practice them back, I can tell you as a teacher, they are not basic practices because my body responds and works in a way that was not responding at the very beginning. So they are very interesting practices, and even for me to teach them all the time, it's quite an interesting experience, because I think that the key aspect of the energy practice, or any kind of practice, observation, attention and detachment from the practice itself. I mean, what I love about Nei Qi Gong is that it doesn't have any beliefs. It doesn't have any imagining thing. It's quite a practical system, and what you have to do is see how your body and your whole system is responding on the particular day, which actually sharpens attention, which is the only thing that we have, and it's the very thing that if we really understand, we can even go beyond our personality, because we can trace the nature of ourselves before actually our content on the mind and content of our body. And this is what I love about the practice. So each time I practice, actually I try to be almost like it's the first time that I'm practicing, because my body responds differently each day and I'm different each day. So it really becomes a tool of spiritual evolution, of understanding, of attention on this level. But also there are more let's say, subtle processes like the Nei Qi and the experience of Qi itself that really boost the possibility of growing in awareness and opening up new dimension of yourself. So that's, for me, I think, is the greatest benefit. If you want to know about the Xing Shen Zhuang Gong, well, you can go on my website. You can either go on the method page where you can see the whole method explained step by step, or if you really want to start to have a little taste on it and understand what this thing is really about, there are 2 basic exercises for free. You can go there, you click on the page, you put your email, you will receive more emails, and on the first email actually you get a link to the page with the basic exercises, and in the same page you will find a full explanation of the whole part. So how everything came about, benefits, and the system itself, how you can book your live class with me on Zoom. We do this class of 3 hours and a half, and we move with your time, because my goal is to serve you, that you have to leave your class with your full understanding about the practice, no doubts. So you know it, how it works like this, we practice together, and I correct your posture. This is why we use Zoom with cameras. I use this kind of fancy microphones and GoPros, all this kind of stuff. And then you memorize the practice actually with the videos that I give you after the class in the PDF, because actually it's a lot of information at the beginning. There are 15 exercises, but you know, it's all an internal practice, although it's the most physical one, so we move. It's based on placing the attention on key points of the energy practices and perform certain movements. It's a lot. I mean, when you learn it, it's a lot. But then you can practice it in 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 35 minutes, it depends. Usually people tend to practice faster the first days, and then the more they enjoy to stay in the posture, the longer it becomes. It also depends of availability and time that we have, and I think this is another great point of the work that Shifu Costantino Valente did. We only need 40 minutes, 35 minutes. Maybe when we move to the superior practice, we might get to 1 hour, 55 minutes. And we are Westerners, so we have a life. Some people have a wife, I don't have children, so I'm fully free about this. But it's something that we can stick within our routine, and we can have a huge benefit about how we interact with life only by having that time for ourselves and to grow in all our levels. So that's pretty much it. If you have any question, you can comment. I read all the comments. I can also talk to you personally if you're interested, really interested, not wasting my time, please, in learning more. We can have a WhatsApp call, we can talk about this, I can explain you more and see if you want to do the class or you want to become my student and we start to work together. That's pretty much it. I hope you're having a wonderful day. It's sunny in Sicily today, so I'm enjoying it. Thank you very much.